Hey guys, Kalen from MoTech here. I'm going to show you how to do a 10-speed update on your MoTech build if it's going in limp mode. First thing you're going to want to do is disconnect the negative over there. Get this computer bracket free from the inner fender, so take off this bolt and this bolt. And the main connector we're going to focus on is this one. And once we get this out of the way, we're also going to look at the little 6-pin that's going into the bottom of this circuit board. Once you have the bolts off, you can take this off, or you can do this first. Click these locks back like that, and then kind of put pressure between the lock and the lever, and that should lift it up. Same thing here, boom, hook them all back. The best way to get these off is take like your middle finger or your index finger, put them in the back of the connector, put your thumb right here and kind of tilt it forward a little, and then pull it out. Then we're going to lift this out. If there's any zip ties holding this on or holding this down, take note of how they are. They go in this slot right here. We're going to undo this. Try to keep them, I already loosened this stuff, but try to keep them separated so you can remember which one's which. One is battery and one is starter. This one's obviously going to be battery, this one's going to be starter. But just in case, you might want to mark them. And then be very careful with these connectors. They're easy to break. All right, so once you get your two eyelets off, you're going to be left with the green connector and the 6-pin. For the green connector, just kind of grab it and pull it straight down, wiggle it a little bit. Don't pull it at an angle or you'll bend the pins. And then for this little lever, as you can see, push that. Then this should be able to move. So we're going to take this, we're just going to put it either on a workbench or you can set it right here. Like I said, we're going to focus on the blue connector. So what we're going to do next is we're going to get this backing off, so you can use a pick or a small flathead. Pull this up right here and pull this one up a little bit and open this up. And then after that, we're going to de-loom this to about here or so. All right, so I got a pick. 90-degree pick probably works a little better. Just kind of get it right up in there so it's lifted up. Go on the other side, do the same thing, like that, and then pull it out. So now we can see all these wires. Next thing we're gonna do is, like I said, just de-loom it back. All right, so once you kind of get this de-loomed, the other connector we're actually gonna focus on is gonna be this little 6-pin connector. So find where that tape is. You might need to use a razor blade and kind of put a slit in it, just be careful, and then de-loom it from there. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to find 3 wires here, 2 or 3. We're going to cut them, we're going to splice into them, and then we're going to run them into here directly. So we're bypassing the rest of the stuff. Okay, so next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get some wire, kind of measure it out, and depending on how you want to run it, I'm going to try to run mine along with this harness, and we're going to end up probably splicing it a couple inches down, so around here. So just take some wire, kind of pre-cut that. The 2 wires we're going to be messing with is going to be a yellow, so that's why I had cut a yellow. And then we're also going to be messing with this purple green. So you can use whatever colors you want, but those are the 2 that we're going to be cutting them right about here, splicing them, and then running them into here. And then this pink with the white stripe, we're actually basically going to split it off. So the purple with the green is going to be going into the, is going to be going down, and that actually goes over here to the multi-signal. So that's essentially the turn on for the computer. And then this yellow wire is going to be going into this connector, and we're going to have to do some mods on the fuse box itself, and that's going to be grounding the relay. All right, so I pulled those 2 wires kind of out. And again, it's this yellow right here, right up front, and the purple with the green. I'm going to cut them right around the end of the connector. You don't want to go too far down to see this curve. What you don't want is to put the solder seal or the solder, whatever you're going to do, or crimp, in that curve. You want to do it kind of here where it's going to be a little straight. So once you find your spot, take those 2, and we're just gonna snip them. We're only gonna need this side. So with these, the two over here, you basically have two options. You can either heat shrink them, make sure they don't touch, although they're not really gonna go into anything anymore, or just electrical tape them, but make sure they don't rub into anything else. Then we're gonna take these two. I grabbed a yellow, so I'm essentially going to extend it, and then I grabbed the pink white, because pink white is essentially the turn on for the computer, which is what this purple green is. Okay, so the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find this purple yellow, so it's right below the yellow wire. We're gonna take it and we're gonna tee into it so both sides stay together, and then we're gonna wanna splice it into one of these purple blues. I think there's about 2 of them in here. See, there's one right there. I can get it to focus right there, and then one right here. So we're basically splicing them in, so it's just gonna be a T, and we're allowing the purple blue to power up this purple yellow. All right, so I went ahead and I cut the purple with the yellow, just cut out a purple wire. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it in like this, do a Y or a T, and do the same thing to one of these purple blues. All right, so here is our purple with the yellow. So let me pull that one out so you can kind of see it down here. It's got a T into it. I just looped that purple wire back. There's the purple wire right there. You can see it's going into a purple with a blue. And there's a purple blue right there. So the purple blue basically still needs to stay intact, and so does the purple yellow. We just need to combine them. You can try a Scotch lock. I'm not a big fan of those, the ones where you squeeze them. I prefer the solder. It's a little more secure this way, but you can do it however you'd like. After that, we're pretty much done with this section. So we can run these back, start taping, and then we're gonna run these, our 2 wires coming out, up to here, and then we'll cut this. Okay, so I did some taping here. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run these backwards, and I'm gonna run them along with the 6-pin connector. Then we're gonna find a good spot. We're only focused on the pink with the white stripe. Find a good spot where we're basically gonna cut it, and the yellow side is gonna go that way towards the connector, and our purple with the green stripe, I just made that one purple or pink white as well, is gonna go down into the harness side. So we'll find a spot, we're gonna do a clean cut, boom, yellow forward, pink white back. Okay, so I've made the cut. So bada bing, I'm gonna hook up the yellow to that side. I'll show the after connections, and then I'm gonna kind of do a small loop so it's less stress on the solder, and connect that to that side. I'll show you the after, and then once we're done there, we can tape this up, and the last thing we need to do is modify this. Okay, so here we go. The pink white or purple green is going down to the harness side of this pink white, and the yellow wire is going towards the connector side of the pink white. So at this point in time, this can all be taped up. We're pretty much done with the wiring side. Now we're gonna move on to the fuse box, and you can do it if you have dielectric grease or something similar, kind of wipe that off. So I'll grab a towel. If it's easier for you to pull this off, you can, but it's not necessary. You can manipulate everything while it's still connected. Okay, so got the fuse box on a table. You're gonna have 2 relays in here. You'll notice one of them is next to a fuse that says AC comp. This is gonna be your AC relay. So this one over here is the powertrain relay. I took it off so we can kind of see. You'll see this trace that runs all the way around and goes into the powertrain relay. This is the trace that we're gonna focus on. So what we're gonna do is we're actually going to cut it. So you can either take like a razor blade or a flathead screwdriver, something that has a slight edge to it, and pick a spot, really anywhere, it doesn't matter. And kind of like how you can see that copper right there, that's basically what we're going to do. So we're going to take this and we're going to cut the trace. Here's the after, so you can kind of see that there's white in there. The copper is no longer touching, and if we were to continuity check, there would be no continuity. The last thing we need to do is flip this guy over, and we're going to need to run a jumper. So we're going to cut a very small amount of, about, I use 18 gauge, but you can use 20 gauge wire if you'd like, and we're going to connect 2 traces. So let me get that going. Okay, so I put a marker. So essentially, if you have the board like this with your 2 eyelets up, we're going to be focused on this relay socket over here, and we're going to do the top one to this one. Then cut yourself a little bit of wire like this. This is 20 gauge, and we're basically going to connect it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these kind of flat, put some solder on them, heat it up, and then put it on here. So hopefully solder will try to stick to the solder. You can use flux as well to help you out. Once you do this, we're done. You can mount this back in the vehicle and run it. If you get the vehicle going and you have a UO 100, the transmission might need some codes removed. So if that's the case, I'll show you guys how to put our module into bypass mode or program mode. Okay, so here's kind of the end result. So we ran that jumper into there. Pretty solid overall. If you want to double check continuity, you can from here to here. And that's pretty much it. We're going to reinstall this in the vehicle and test run it. Okay, so let's say you get it going and you have a check engine light. What you're going to want to do, it's a little difficult with one hand, but if you have the early JK with this, all you're going to do is pull it toward you for cancel. If you have a newer JK, you're just going to hold the cancel button, but have the key off. Hold the cancel button toward you, turn the key to the on position, keep holding it. Now you should notice the check engine light won't be on as long as I'm holding it. It might click on for a second, but once I let go, check engine light comes on, and you'll notice the cruise light starts flashing. If the cruise light flashes, you did this correctly. Our module is now in bypass mode, and you can program the GM TCM. If you don't put it in bypass mode, you might brick the TCM.